Okay, guys, I'm sharing this with you. This is my knee, okay? It is tremendously swollen after yesterday. Um, I popped the blood vessel underneath the skin. Um, that knee's huge, trust me. That's not the normal size. Uh, but I had an absolutely marvelous day. Okay? First off, I want to say I went out there with every intention of staying out there and attempting to learn that machine and trying to get it adjusted and playing with it. And I accomplished some of that. Um, I found an extremely trashy area, which I thought it would be, and I found a whole 2 pennies. So, I'm 2 pennies richer on my XPS Deus 2, or XP Deus 2. I'm moving toward that goal eventually, one day, because that's the next machine that I wanted. Um, a lot of you don't know. I have a lot of medical issues, and one of them is bone problems. Um, that's contributed because of a lot of other things. Uh, it's hard for me to get around sometimes. Um, I'm going to continue going, and now that it's cooler outside and absolutely gorgeous weather, I will be pushing that issue because that's just me. But when I released the video of yesterday, you're going to hear in the background a man that comes to me as he's driving by, and he's talking to me about, am I good with that? And I explained to him, no, because I'm just learning that machine. And anyway, bottom line is, what happened was he had lost his wedding ring. He was changing oil on his car, and the oil got, of course, all over his hands. So he went to his shop to get a rag. And in the process of getting the rag, as he was wiping his hands and walking back to the vehicle, somewhere along that line, his wedding band slipped off. So he was kind of desperate to find it. And it had been a month, and he was very concerned that, it's lost forever. And the man is he's middle-aged and has a lot of medical issues that I'm not going into because that's his business. And for that reason, you will never ever see that video. Because he was very open and honest with me during the hunt. And we hunted until it was so dark you couldn't see the pictures anyway, except for the brightness of one item. So what happened was, I got overheated out there messing with the Knox because it was a 74-degree day. And I kept going and going, hoping until the last minute when I knew that the buses were going to start coming and everybody's going to be moving in that area, so I had to get out of there. And I was trying to rush, and that overheated me. So I come home and recuperated for just a little bit. And in the video, I told the man that what I would do is change my machine out for another one that I was a little more comfortable with. And when I got home and I was resting and I was thinking about it, and I said, oh, no, you're not. You will not change out that machine. The object of the day, with the beautiful weather to take advantage of, was to learn the machine. So I said, no, I'm going to take that machine and I'm going to go do it. Well, I did. I got there, talked to the man. We had beautiful conversation. He told me about a local, and you can see the bruising that's here too. The whole thing is bruising and swollen. It's very large. Trust me, very large for me. But anyway, he told me about a man that's in our area that is extremely talented on history detecting and lives in the same town. And I have talked to him and his son a couple of different times. Um, he was a whites dealer before they went out, and he swore by that machine and almost convinced me. But point being that this man give him a guy's phone number in it's called Emerald Isle. It's part of the ocean. We have a 26-mile long beach ocean front, and one end of it's Atlantic Beach and Fort Macon, which is a old fort that is now a Coast Guard station. Which you can go on there to fish, but you cannot hunt. Um, the opposite end of it, where it comes back to the mainland by the bridge, is called Emerald Isle. Well, this person lived in Emerald Isle, and he called this person, and he is part of the ring finder group. And he explained everything to him. Well, instantly the guy says, well, in order for me to come to the mainland, it's going to be $35. And then you're going to have to pay me a tip when I find it. And when he told me what the tip was, my eyebrows went sky high. I was like, are you joking me? And this was the tip. Well, people typically don't tell you what tip you're going to pay them. It's something that you choose from your heart, you know? Um, and then there's other cheap wads, but that's a whole nother story. So anyway, long story short, let me get back to it because I can wander off too because there's a lot of avenues to this story. Um, the man has recently started working at a fairly hard to get, great paying position in our area because there's not a whole lot of that. We're very rural. So for him to get this job, it's amazing. Um, he's had a lot of medical conditions growing up. He's got a lot of tremendous issues. And this ring, when he told me, and you can hear it in my voice, when he told me what this ring meant, I didn't care if it took me 10 days. I was going to be out there digging with every machine I had. He never in his life, and he is now 48, so I'm saying middle aged, but he never in his life thought that he would ever get married, have a family, or any of those things because of the problems that he's had. And he found a special person. And he said every day he would look at his ring and he would thank God that he accomplished something he never thought he would. In the process, this man had lost it for almost a month. He had someone else come over. That person came over, and his wife sent him one of those El Cheapos off the internet and from Amazon. And, you know, she's a traveling nurse, so she had sent him this and said, honey, I hope this helps you. He'd tried it and tried it. Well, he couldn't get anybody to help him to learn it, and he didn't understand enough about learning it. A lot like I have the same issue in this area because nobody's going to take the time to help you learn your stuff. You have to do that around here because they don't care. Um, we have no groups. There's nothing in this area group wise that will help. So you're on your own, 100%. And that makes it very hard, very, very hard to do. So he tried because she sent him this little metal detector and he tried. Well, he's also in process of changing out all the windows, residing his mobile home. He's putting on the tin roof. So as you can imagine, there's every kind of screw and nut and slivers of metal and, all kinds of stuff because he was doing it as he came up with the money. Um, the trailer's looking very good. I will tell you that. It has come a long way in the last 2 years, a very long way. In the last year, the roof is like halfway done, and it's been sitting that way because, as you know, it's hard to get supplies. It's hard to get the money for him to be able to do that. So um, this was his gift to his bride, was to redo inside and out that home for her. And it is really looking gorgeous, really looking gorgeous. So he's honoring her for her honoring him with all of his farbles, as we call those in the olden days. And she accepted him and loves him. And he never thought he'd see that day. And I have to tell you, it was the same thing like with my daughter-in-law. He was a virgin when he married, and he's a much older version. So this gives you an idea. Now, I'm not getting into everything about him, but he come a long way. And that's what I wanted you to understand, is just the fact that he came a very long way in his life. And he is extremely happy. And he loves his wife tremendously. He worships her. She is the most special person he's ever met. And this is important to him to have that ring, and important to him to be able to honor her with the renovations. So in that process, this yard is loaded with garbage. Worse than the bus stop. And that's saying something. So what ended up happening, I had been up and down all day. And I could have took a long shovel, but I chose to take this small little digger because I want to get to know the machine. I want to understand how to accurately predict where the target is. There's a lot of things, and I want to be active, and I want to keep moving. And the only way you can keep moving is dealing with stuff like this. You have to go through this stuff in order to keep your body going. So it was starting to get dark, and we had dug a lot of false signals in the yard because there's power lines, there's all kinds of stuff going underground. So there was a lot of difficulties going through that. And I was there for several hours. And um, I was working with him on his metal detector, and we were kind of going side by side, and I was encouraging him to continue to work with his metal detector. And he understood a few things about it, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. It ended up, during our conversation, we struck up that he wants to go detecting in his spare time. He wants to go to the beach so bad. And I told him that I had about finding my class ring and returning it out there. The very first thing I ever found out there that of any value. And, that I had never found anything else. And that's been several years. And that took me almost 2 months to track that young man down to get his ring back. But anyway, then I moved in the process and I lost the ring. I misplaced it. I didn't lose it, okay, misplaced it. Well, I've since found it, but now I've lost his information, so I've got to go back to tracking him. Um, Life is interesting. That's all I have to say. Life is interesting. And you need to take from life and make the best that you can for you, because we all have an expiration stamp and you don't know when that's going to be. Okay, we all have issues that we need to find a way around. And my way around is resting up, and then on the better times going out and trying what I can try, and then resting up and then doing it again. Well, I hate to say it, it's going to be a couple of days for me now because I can hardly move on this knee. Um, Ice packs has been interesting all night. Uh, to say the least, we decided we were going to be hunting buddies. So there was a great deal come out of that meeting. Um, so we can support each other, basically. Um, and I turned him on to several YouTube channels, and I told him to get familiar with, and that would help him a lot. Um, he doesn't know the name of his metal detector, and it's a very, very inexpensive one, but it is waterproof. The coil is waterproof. Box is not. So we discussed a lot of different things, and I showed him some of the things that I had learned, because I have no problem with that. I have no problem with sharing and teaching. And, people have told me in my life, you should have been a teacher. Well, I couldn't have stood that. I'd have pulled my hair out by the time I was 25 if I'd have been a teacher. And then people said because of my patience, I should have been a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse, but I had a tremendously strong fear of needles because of a lot of the medical things I had gone through during my life. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get over it. Well, at this stage in my life, after finding out I had hemochromatosis and I had to go through every 2 weeks having a phlebotomy for a period of my life, and tremendous amounts of testing and all the things, I still don't like needles, but I don't fear them to the point of passing out and getting sick and all those issues that I had prior. I mean, you could just be in the same room with me and have a needle in your hand and I'm done, but not anymore. So I have learned to overcome a lot of things in my life, but I still don't think I could be a nurse because I don't think I could stomach dealing with some of the things that they deal with, especially now. So going back to this young man, and I call him young because he is younger than I am. He's Juice's age, in that range, you know what I'm saying? And my son's age. He was very, very, very sweet and kind to the point that it got dark. He was digging on something, and I turned away from him because it got to the point he started doing all my digging because I couldn't bend my knee. And I showed him how to use the pinpointer and explained everything to him. So he learned a lot that way. And I love that. I love to be able to share. I mean, isn't that what life's about? So he was digging that, and I moved over from there following the pathway that he had explained to me. And I branched out a little further to the left. And when I did, the detector went crazy. And I went, "Stop what you're doing." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Stop digging that hole and move over here." Long story short, he cried. It was his ring. And he could not believe the fact that I found it. And he told me, "I don't care what happens or what you need." He said, "You call me." You call me, lady, he says, and I will be there. I will help you do anything you need done. And I said, no, sir. And he looked at me and he said, well, no, I'm serious. And I said, and I'm serious too. I said, I come over here to help you because I gathered the urgency in your voice because how important that was to you. And that's a rarity. Most men could care less about the ring on their finger. I mean, let's be honest. That's who I am, honest. And I said, that is why I'm here, because it was very important to you. I said, the second thing is, I chose not to change out my machine to one I'm very much more familiar with because I was determined, and still am, just got a little bit of a setback again, story of my life, but I'm determined to learn that machine. Um, he he was amazed because he said, this is unreal. He said, no, nobody's ever done something like this for me. And I said, well, you know what? That's what's lacking in this world nowadays. And for you, I understand how important it is. I said, and for me, it's equally important to be able to learn this machine because I have wanted it for so long. And I finally got it. And sometimes life gets in the way, like I said, and you don't always get to go spend the time that you want. And so in the learning process, and it was just as equally important for me to learn this machine as it was for that ring and what it means to you. I said, I'm doing this for the experience, for the knowledge. I said, and to help you, knowing how important that was. I want nothing from you, nothing, because I got what I needed by finding your ring. And he was bawling. Very, very, very sweet man. He was so excited. He was, I don't know. You would have to be there. You really would, because to me that was amazing. And I'm glad I got to participate in that little portion. So that's why you will never see that video, okay? I'm going to work on the one I made because the crazy camera kept cutting off. So since I don't know how to edit, I don't know how I'm going to put this up there, but I'll figure something out until I get frustrated and just say, screw it, and put it up there. Um, but I wanted to share with everyone that I found my very first precious ring. And the ring was made of silver. It wasn't gold, but that's okay because that's my first silver ring. And I found it with my Knox, my baby. Don't look at the mess, okay? Don't judge me, folks. Like Juice says, don't judge me. I found it with my baby. That is a most exciting day. I will suffer with the pain. I will suffer with the effects of being there and going through everything because I found it. And the hunt's on, baby. I promise you, the hunt's on. So, everyone take care. I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope that from my storytelling that you do understand the meaning behind it. But I think this man and I are going to make an amazing buddy system for metal detecting, and I will share my machines with him. I will work with him on those. Um, it's going to be a great, great friendship. And eventually, with his wife, when she gets back into town. So I was trying to think of a way to share this, and I had been sitting here with the ice pack, and I said, you know what? Just go tell the story. Just get up there. Just say it. Just put that out there so other people know. I'm not out for riches. I mean, granted, I live on an extremely fixed income with a lot of issues. But, um, and they say the poverty line is 25,000 and I'm making 13. So that kind of tells you how extreme that is. And this man is also in that same boat. Um, but point being, yeah, I'm like everybody else. I would love to have more money. I would love to do this and I would love to do that. And I would love to travel. I love driving. And I would love to be able to do that kind of stuff. I just can't when you struggle each day at this point. But I'm not going to take it off of somebody else's back. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Um, it's just not me. And that's another thing I've always prided myself on. Because I can't say I'm not greedy because everybody's greedy. I mean, let's be honest. But I'm not that greedy that I'm going to hurt someone to make gains for myself. So I just wanted to get that story out because I thought it was most important. I'm going to bend my knee. I thought it was most important to share. And you guys, get out there and do some hunting. Go out. Do everything that you can and bless somebody along the way because I know most of the people that I subscribe to are that way. And that's why I subscribe to you because you're a lot like me and it's so wonderful to know there's kindred spirits. But find your treasures, find your happy spot, find your personal pleasure. And when I say the word pleasure, I don't mean an instantaneous type thing. I'm talking about your inner pleasure. Get out there and do it. Go enjoy. Because I'll never forget this day. Never. So, everyone, take care. And I'm stealing another juice word. God bless. And enjoy yourself. Life's too damn short. That has always been my saying. It will continue to be my saying. Life is too short. So God bless and take care. Bye.